G'day everyone, it's True and welcome to another African Violet video. Now this is why we grow African violets, because of the absolutely beautiful array of blooms that you can get. These are just a small sample of ones that I have flowering at the moment, and I just love them, absolutely love them. But I hear a lot of people say that they have so many problems getting the African violets to flower. And really, if you just follow some simple steps, it's really quite easy. But today, I'm going to tell you one extremely secret tip that I've been told by the son of a lady who unfortunately now has passed away, but she was an African violet grower for all her life. And she was in her 80s when she passed away. And her son said that she always had stunning, beautiful African violets flowering all the time, all year round. And I said to him, what was her secret? And he said she noticed that her African violets that she had growing on her stereo or radio grew better than the ones that were not on there. And he was amazed by this. She was amazed by this. She always said that the ones that were sitting on top of a stereo grew better than the ones that weren't. And that got me thinking about why those African violets were blooming better and grew better than the ones that weren't. And it hit me. It was the vibration coming out from the stereo. African violets, if you need to get them to bloom, there's a little tip that you can do. And one is that you can earthquake the pot. And earthquaking the pot causes a vibration in the pot. It's where you squeeze the side of the pot gently, or you tap it on a hard surface. And what it does is it moves the soil around the roots, and the African violet thinks that its life's in danger. And when it thinks its life's in danger, it causes it to throw a flower spike out to reproduce. And that's a little secret tip of how you can get your African violets to flower. So it was very, very interesting when he said that the ones that were on top of that stereo grew better than the ones that weren't, because those vibrations would have caused that similar effect to earthquaking a pot. And the other thing that it does is it moves the soil and it breaks up the soil in the pot, which allows a lot of air to get in around the African violet roots. Now, African violets hate to have their roots compacted. They love to have nice air pockets around their roots. They grow so much better. They're so much happier and healthier. So if you're having trouble getting your African violets to bloom, maybe you can try sitting them on your stereo, or you can try earthquaking their pot. If you're not sure how exactly to do the earthquaking the pot, I've got a video earlier on. You can go back and see it, and it shows you exactly how to earthquake an African violet pot. So there are other things you do need to get beautiful African violet blooms. So one, you need to give them the correct amount of water, the right soil, the right amount of light, indirect light, and I'm forgetting one. The right soil, water, fertilizer too. So if you're also not getting blooms, it could be that your African violets are really low in potassium, and they need potassium, extra amounts of potassium to bloom, because it takes a lot of energy for a plant to flower. And if they're using all their energy into creating leaves, and all the amount of potassium they have is to create leaves, and they don't have enough left to create lovely, lovely blooms. So if you get all of these things right, you will have amazing blooms. And if you're finding that you're doing all of those things, you've got right soil, water, light, fertilizer, all of those things you know that they're correct, you've got a healthy, happy looking plant, but you're still not getting blooms, really, really, really try earthquaking your pot, or try sitting your plant on a surface that has a gentle vibration, like a stereo or a television, or just something that has a little bit of movement. And if you don't have anything like that, then you can just, if you've got them on a shelf, tap the shelf so it sends a bit of vibration along the shelf, because that can also help. So all of those things help to stop the soil from getting compacted, getting good aeration around the roots, and will also send that message to the plant, or perhaps my life is in danger, I need to reproduce, I'll need to send out a flower spike, and that could be the thing that gets it just that little last little step that it needs to bloom really well. Also, one other little tip for great blooms is make sure your African violets are in pots that are too small for them. They only bloom when their roots are touching the sides of the pot that they're in. So if you have an African violet that's in a huge pot and it's a tiny little plant, you might still get flowers, but you're not going to get as good a display or as many flowers as if you have basically your plant. And I find, for me, another little secret tip is that with your African violets, the root ball of your African violets should take up, I would say, 80% of the pot. So you want the root and the root ball to take up at least 80% of the pot. That way it doesn't have to grow much before it hits the side of the pot, and then it will flower. Once it hits the side of the pot, it will flower. It will flower. So if you have if you have those things all set, perfect, and you've got a happy plant, and you have the right size pot, the roots, root bound, and the roots are touching the side of the pot, you giving that earthquake in the pot, the vibration, and the right amount of fertilizer, soil, light, water, you will get blooms. You will get blooms. So do not give up on blooms, because as much as the foliage is absolutely lovely, we all want a lovely display of flowers. So I hope these tips help, and that my friend's mum, who grew African violets for 80 years, and it's such a shame that she's no longer with us, because I hate to think of how many wonderful, amazing secrets went with her, and how many things that I could have learned and so many other people could have learned from her. So please leave comments below. Please let everyone know what your little secret and tips are for growing beautiful African violets, because we need to share all of these secrets to everyone around the world, because that way then we can all enjoy these beautiful flowers, beautiful plants, and it just brings joy and happiness to everyone who sees them. So I hope this information helps, and if you're enjoying the content I'm putting out there, please like and subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. It helps me look after my plants. It helps me have my goal is to have a little bit more time that I can actually spend with them, and just get far more enjoyment out of my plants. So I hope this video helps, and thank you so much for watching.